So it's story time. This is a story of how I died for America and how my blood is underneath the earth surface of the Constitution, the Acclamation Proclamation of America, United States of America, actually. So I am the system, and I am happy to be the system of America. And I am Illuminati, but I'm still myself, and I'm happy to be. I am the great niece of the songwriter who wrote the song Take Your Time, Do It Right by SOS Band. And most people don't know who they are, and most people do, especially if they're older. And it's a song, baby, we can do it. Take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Baby, we can do it. Take your time. Dum, 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 dum. Dum, 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 dum. Let's do it. So, I, how did I get to this point? So, basically, throughout my whole life, I learned that my family stole my life and made it theirs so they can live. I don't know what they mean by that, but it just turned to ugly situations. And I learned today, just now, on my Roku, that there's this channel called the Nosy Channel or something like that. It's Nosy Time or something. I don't know. And basically, I learned that some individuals were arguing on Maury's show or on the Jerry Springer, and Jerry Springer actually said it was true. So it's just crazy how, my life is just inquisitiveness and people think I'm a mystery, but I look at it as it's interesting because it's my family at the end of the day that made me, you know, become immortal in a sense because I'm not immortal. I can still die, but it will make the world think, oh, what happened? Something's missing, And also, another thing, I'm not necessarily immortal. Like I said, I'm living my second life. And I've been killed so many times practically just to be stronger and stronger and stronger, whether it's with electricity or that's the only thing I can think of. It's just electricity or radiation, and everybody can practically relate to the same thing. And I feel like too much radiation is infecting and messing with the hummingbirds because I'm a hummingbird, and that's another situation I don't mind describing based on demographics and how we have animals in our system, but necessarily we are those animals. And we gotta take care of ourselves because those animals are not gonna take care of us. Even if they feel sorry for us, they still aren't gonna take care of us. Um, in a sense, I always talk about my ex or multiple exes, but I never really explained how many exes I've had in my whole entire life and how I dated only a couple of guys just to not really like date them fully, and it leaves people inquisitive as to what I'm about. But it doesn't matter because they never really fulfilled that position. I'm not even high, I'm just like laughing about it. So it just shows you I'm not really into females, like I stated, at all. And I am about guys, and I like them too much to the point where like I just I'm picky. It is what it is. So I like to remain myself because, like I stated, people love to switch lives, and there's situations that describe that in different dimensions where a soul is placed in between an individual and they try to take over. And like I stated before, I am a Freemasonic, and that is considered a goddess. And I'm myself. I'm thankful to be the goddess of the sun and the moon as Venus. And Venus dies a lot in tales and myths, but I mean, I don't want to keep dying for America to remain the same. That doesn't make sense, and I don't want anybody else to die for America to remain the same. Especially when it's so simple to just drop the situation and just be yourself as yourself, and that's it. Because if not, like, people are just going to be inquisitive that something's off, and people are dying in numbers, especially the black people. And it's just too many situations that it just doesn't make sense. And even if you just count how many people were lived as themselves multiple times, you just look at it as, you know, when is it gonna stop? So it's scary, but it's spooky. Which I know you guys heard me say multiple times. Because when I get electrocuted, I'm always on some spooky. See, like how now. And uh, I have a lot of electricity in my body. And it's nothing to be proud of because I'm going through um, injury, like I stated. And where my circulation is not that great. I wish I could. Oh, well, actually, I should show you my toes. See? So that's the proof. My feet are ugly, but that's the proof. And my circulation is off. And who can imagine what else is off? Because I know it's not my mental. And literally, I just feel that my family needs to stop hiding behind what they feel is what's considered truthful because it isn't. And they also need to understand that other people are going to influence them by placing them in danger. But I'm quite sure, just like the other shows, Sally, Maury, Jerry Springer, there's always a situation where somebody had to drive all the way from one cross of the town to the other side of the town just to go do something that was self-explanatory or unexplained. So I would hate for anybody to go through that for no damn reason because it doesn't make sense. Just to come back and be like, I was in a domestic situation because I know damn well you weren't. And I know your monitor is definitely making sure that you stay your ass where you're at. So my family split up judicially, and I'm the only one that isn't split up practically because I get to move freely. And I do have the opportunity to do that, which I'm by myself in my mother's apartment with her, where her ex-husband, who's soon to be leaving America, is living at, and he don't even live here practically. So literally, I mean, if anybody's interested in renting a room, there's situations that entails of that, and I do not mind making sure that that happens. But you can be in California or you can be in New York, but like I said, it's best to stay where you at. So that's just according to play. And I had an epiphany tonight where I was reading an article and I was talking to Shaquille O'Neal on my monitor, and it was about basketball and assists and rebels or rebounds uh and three, I forgot what it's called. It's a pick or play, I guess, because it's a I don't know even. I don't even know what a pick or play is. I guess it's considered freestyling, but they call that an and one, or necessarily they'll say like a situation where like where necessarily they have a pick that the coach picked with X's and O's, which is defense and offense, and then necessarily they'll stir up the plot, which is to ensure that the situation that is predicted becomes true. Which is, like I stated before, the antagonist, protagonist versus the climax to a conclusion to a solution. And that's how any story goes, no matter what first person, second person, or third person is. And usually the third person is always the storyteller, just to let you know, because everybody hates liars. And that is so bothersome when they swear they telling the truth, but they know they lying. We can smell that shit from a mile away, son. And it makes no sense why even my friends from high school and junior high school are like talking about a situation that they don't even yo, and that's what they're telling me right now. But literally, I just want to make sure that my story is just told the way that it needs to be told, because I don't understand that people think I'm not supposed to remain myself as myself. I mean, my blood is still alive and well. I mean, I don't get what makes them feel that. And part of being a humanitarian, trait of America when it comes to qualities of being what's considered the perfect citizen morally is allowing yourself to express individualism, allowing yourself to believe, because it is based on belief, um, allowing yourself to. There's plenty of humanitarian characteristic traits to actually talk about. Um, I can't think of any at this moment. Usually, I'm the queen of thinking about them, to be honest, and I always reflect that as well. And privilege is one of them, but most people need to think about how that reflects on institutional racism and how it also leads to a constitutional issue, which is what we're going through right now. So, if you cannot allow yourself to reflect on how institutional racism is conflicting constitutional racism, then think about how other places in the world are understanding of what they're going through, no matter the religion. And all they can do is continue to practice their religion because it brings them closer to God. And literally, I stated, if in God we trust, and it's on the police cars and it's on the dollar bill with the pyramid, then like think about how we need to be closer to God, or we need to trust in God so we can go our way the way we need to. Because literally, I'm not allowing myself to be put in no jeopardy for nobody else to make me feel like I'm just doing the wrong things, because I know what's right and what's wrong naturally. And I don't need nobody to ever tell me, because I'm not listening to nobody, as you can tell, besides laughing occasionally to little things, because the business will never be over the people. And like I said, I am the Constitution of America, and I am America as a person. And I don't care who says what and how they say it as an ex-boyfriend, passed on to any viewer or not. It's literally as it is. It's me. And if they feel like me going missing is going to answer their questions because of my power, then literally they don't need to be living on Earth or anything, because they're not a threat, but they're just gonna lead to a whole bunch of demons going off, you hearing multiple voices in your mental, you reacting differently than usual, such as running or being nervous and paranoid, or going through anal rape or vaginal rape in spirit. And that's just is weird because this is what they think is normal, just to turn it off, and it's gonna still be in front of you as a form of a circle, whether it's north, east, southwest, northeast, southwest, east, north, southwest, or west, south, whatever. But at the end of the day, I literally don't understand why they feel that's a better conclusion. And if it is to scare people out of it and to get them to be like, all right, I'm gonna chill the fuck out, like that's not, that doesn't make you humanitarian, and that doesn't make you a binary citizen. It just makes you somebody who's an outlaw. Like, and people who are outlawish, and we understand this, is like someone who just doesn't care about the Constitution, institution, and they don't mind racism because it is a non-situation that they can live in, and because they're used to it. And there's words to describe these things, and we have to understand those words, because if it's ancestral, that means it's within your family, and if it's not, then it's considered a a realistic situation where you can allow yourself to maneuver around. And you might not understand those ugly feelings inside, but that right there is not, that doesn't make us human. And that doesn't make us feel comfortable to continue to live without fear. Because fear literally drives you into how you need to react to every single thing. And if you don't have fear of anything, then that means you literally are courageous, which is another humanitarianistic trait of characteristic. And I literally feel that if you don't allow yourself to move forward, you're going to keep going in circles. It's never going to be a square, and it's not going to lead to a triangle, which I will not mind showing you my triangle. See, that's my triangle. And it's a tattoo that my mom did. And I don't want to talk about it as to how it happened, but I'm happy because it's not affecting me. And most people can lie and say that they are part of a secret society, and most people aren't. But before you can understand secret society, you have to understand demographics, and that's the main thing that we're talking about right now. Is how most people neglect who they are to become something that they are not willing or intending to be. And if it's not willingly, and it's nothing in fear of, then literally you have to allow yourself to understand and reassert yourself in the situation, to understand the here, the now, and the when, which is the why, when, and how. So if you can't understand what's your purpose and why you're doing it, then what for? Because I'm gonna look at you like, huh? Seriously, because I'm looking at a lot of people like that. Because my ex keeps thinking he can just pop up whenever he feel like it in spirit, just so he can push something somewhere else that don't belong, or do something that just gonna make me feel like I need to be infuriated of him. And it's already institutional and constitutional, where I have a forced degree of separation, or necessarily a it's a domestic situation that led to a separation by force. And I'm not even upset by it because I'm not guilty. What I need to be guilty of. It's a long ass story that led to me having an abortion, and because two people thought that it was a safe idea to do, so we can split up. But literally, it just makes me feel like they're just trying to cover up a situation over and over and over, and people are just encouraging them to do that. And you gotta have a strong mind, because if you're not strong willed, then people are just gonna think they can just take advantage of you and do anything to you. And I mean, I'd rather keep it 1,000, because nobody's really gonna keep it 1,000. They're just gonna keep lying about stuff because they want you to feel mental and like you're going through anxiety, or you're lost from yourself, your humanistic person that you were birthed as, your spirit. And people who do mix bloods together is true, because like I stated, I am a part of the police uh, fraternity, and literally it's not a bad thing, but they're practically not really their self. They're part of me to remain themselves, and I'm happy that it brings me closer to them. But I want to make sure it's for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons, because if we can't protect as many people in America, then how do we allow ourselves to continue living forward and forward and forward? And I know you guys felt the earth fall multiple times. Like, imagine that shit can literally fall and bounce. That shit is not gonna make you feel comfortable, because you gotta think how many light years away, and then you have to think how many days does it take to get to outer space and stuff like that. And nobody wants to think outside of a box, because if you think outside of that box, you literally understand the big picture of what I'm allowing you to think about. And it's not just me, it's the United States. So the United Nations understands this and wants everybody to be peaceful. Please. Have a good night.